Welcome everybody once again to the 1997 NR2003 Draft Series, coming to you live from Brooklyn, Michigan at Michigan International Raceway for the Miller 400. I'm Michael Paz alongside Darien Arnsdorff, bringing you the coverage of what's been an absolutely stellar year, and we look to continue this momentum at one of the fastest tracks. We're going to see cars go up to speeds of almost 210 miles an hour, and a very wide track, a lot of racing room. Darien, what's kind of the mindset do you think drivers have going into a track like this?
I think the real mindset here today, Michael, is just figuring out the style of track this is. Because we're coming back to another track of this kind next week at California, which we'll get into later on. It is a very, very fast track, like you said. Very quick, very tight at times. We've seen in practice if someone's on the inside line in a side-by-side battle, they may check up a bit going through 1 and 2, so that could be a thing to look out for here today as well. It is a very difficult racetrack, and last year's winner, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton sat on the pole for that race. However, Wallace went on the win. Not only did he win, he only led 10 laps in doing so. So could that be another thing of where, like, the winner of today's race doesn't lead a whole lot of laps?
That's entirely possible because we saw the fuel window is anywhere from around 40 to 50 laps, and we've seen how much pit stops can go and throw off these racers with a caution or just other incidents. So whoever might be the first guy coming into pit road might not be the first guy out. And if you can get the jump on somebody, then you might be setting yourself up perfectly, even if you haven't had the best car all day.
Yeah, most definitely. And we see a point standing showing up on your screen now. This has been such a fun season, just overall, I feel like, Michael. Just absolute anarchy up and down the table. And we see here Dale Sr. still back to having your points lead. He lost it last week to Bobby Hamilton. Derek Cope, who got the win last week, he's up to third in points, only 90 points back. And you can see just a lot of some very normal names up in the top 12, but we're seeing some oddities flow in now. Ron Hornaday Jr. is up there now. Steve Park is up there now. Ken Schrader's still up there. It's been very fun to see how everyone's going to be getting along this year.
It really has. There's been a real sense of parity in a lot of these cars that I don't know if the teams and the drivers themselves were even anticipating. Like Morgan Shepherd, he's had his own career resurgence. So has Derek Cope. They're both third and fourth in the points, when last year, if you ask them, they might be on totally different tracks. Still at the top of the board, we were talking about Dale Sr. Senior has still not won this year, and we'll probably keep saying this week in and week out that yes, you're leading the points, but you don't have a win. How frustrating does that feel to the number 43?
You think it's definitely frustrating. The thing is, you want to have those wins. You want to be up there constantly. The thing is, sometimes you just need to be more consistent more than anything, as we saw that in a way last week with Hamilton not having a good finish. It allowed Dale Sr. to take back the points lead. So it's really just a matter of consistency, I feel like. As we now see the official starting lineup for this race, this is going to be a fun one, I think, Michael.
On top right there, it's Bobby Labonte for the Wood Brothers. Great qualifying run, 35.093. And I think that's going to give you a big indication of how quick these guys are going to be around this 2-mile track. Alongside him, the number 4 of Jeff Burton for Morgan McClure. Row 2, Mike McLaughlin, one of the star rookies of the year, even though he's not even a rookie. He's just filling in for Joe Nemechek. But it feels like this, it almost feels almost certain that we're going to see Mike McLaughlin in Cup next year with how good he's doing. Alongside him, the number 10, Bobby Hamilton, just lots of points lead, lot to gain from this. He's still 77 points back, though. Good opportunity to go and get some of that points gap whittled down today. Row 3, we're going to have the number 18 of Michael Waltrip alongside the 28 of Harry Gant. Then another one of the fill-in drivers in row 4, Jim Sauter, filling in for Randy LaJoy. He's had his best qualifying run so far in 7th, alongside the number 7 of Ernie Irvin in 8th. Rounding out your top 10 will be the number 73 of Ricky Craven and the 42 of Sterling Marlin for Team Sobco.
We look over at the top 20 here. We see row number 6. We see Steve Park in the 25 for Hendrick Motorsports. Your winner in the Coke 600. Came very close to winning last time out at Dover. Couldn't get it done at the very end due to... Oh no, at Pocono, sorry. Couldn't get it done due to late race caution, I believe it was. He's starting next to last year's champion, Terry Labonte. Row number 7. We see the points leader, Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's next to Ron Hornaday Jr., two-time winner this season. Can he go for 3 here today at Michigan? Row number 8, we see Dale Jarrett starting next to Jack Sprague, one of the Rookie of the Year contenders in the 1 car for Bill Davis Racing. Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin make up row 9 for Roush and Bill Davis Racing, respectively. Then rounding out your top 20 in row 10, we see Rusty Wallace starting next to Todd Bodine.
And then in the second half of the field, we're going to see the number 17, Ward Burton, alongside the 37 of Johnny Benson Jr., the other Kranefuss Haas car Pontiac. Jimmy Spencer in a pretty good qualifying run, alongside the 77 of Robbie Gordon, who are two guys who have been near the back half of the field recently, but now have a little bit better starting spot than where they normally might qualify. Behind them, it'll be the number 98, Bill Elliott, alongside the 48 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. In 27th, Jeff Green, one of the drivers still just trying to make starts, has a pretty good starting spot right alongside the number 9 of Morgan Shepherd. Further back in the rounding out the top 30 will be the 82 of Elliott Sadler and the 99 of Ricky Rudd.
As we look at the last bit of the field here, these last 13 cars, row number 16, we see David Green, one of the Rookie of the Year contenders for Hendrick Motorsports. He's starting next to Hermie Sadler in the 36 for MB2. 9th in points, Ken Schrader. He's starting next to Mike Bliss in row number 17. Schrader's had an amazing season thus far in the 94 car for O'Reilly Autosport. Row 18, we see Wally Dollenbach. He's starting next to rookie Kevin Harvick in the 14 for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Row number 19, we see Joe Ruttman, Hermie Sadler's teammate, starting next to Ernie Irvin's teammate, Mike Skinner. Row 20, a pair of Richard Childress racing cars. Last week's winner, Derek Cope. He starts next to John Andretti in the 31. And the last 3 cars, row 21, we see Butch Gill and starting next to Chad Little. And rounding out the field in row 22, we see the 44 of Matt Kenseth.
And that row caught my eyes, those 2 RCR cars. The number 3, Derek Cope, 31, Johnny Andretti. Dollenbach, their teammate, is not that far ahead of them, but they're all the way back in the field. Seems like RCR is still trying to figure out this Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Michigan's a very difficult track to figure out at the start. You really just need to get laps in. They weren't doing too great in practice, so it'll be interesting to see how they do in the main event here, as we are just a few seconds away from getting the command of fire engines in the Miller 400.
And are there any other last second stories we want to touch on before we get this race underway?
I can't really think of anything. No, not really. I mean, Bobby Labonte up here in the 21's great. The 87-29 up there is really, really surprising, I think. But yeah, that's more a thing we're going to have to see as the race develops. Michael, who are you looking at today?
Oh, man. Fortune tends to favor usually the guys up front. I was liking the 10 of Bobby Hamilton in practice. I want to go for a more unusual pick, but sometimes I think you got to stick with what's tried and true. I think Bobby Hamilton's going to go ahead and get himself another win, get himself into the points lead from here.
I'm going to go a bit crazy, I think, on this one. I may have picked him. I may have picked this team a couple weeks ago, but I'm going with the 29 of Jim Sauter to get the win as we're about to go green.
We'll see what happens. Let's find out. We're underway at Michigan. And look at that 3 wide already through turns 1 and 2 behind Bobby Labonte, who's gotten ahead of the 87 and the 4. 3 wide further back as they're trying to sort themselves up down the back stretch going into turns 3 and 4.
It's very tight battling already as they head down through the corner. Craven already sending it in, looking for third place on the 4 of Jeff Burton as there's still 3 wide. That was Earnhardt, Irvin, and Waltrip who were side by side.
That time around, 21 leads unopposed. There's the 4, Jeff Burton. Gets to the inside, gets right in front of the 73 to the inside of the 87. And with 3 cars against 1, inside lane prevails. As the 87 falls and loses another spot, Craven gets around him. The 25 and the 2 look to be on the charge as well.
Caution on the speedway. Caution on the speedway on lap number 2.
We're seeing a little bit of damage here. Sorry, let's check back, race back to the line. Labonte gets across first. Sorry. Then Jeff Burton second. Ricky Craven third. As we'll take a look back to get ourselves sorted. They were 4 wide going into turn 1. That turned out well.
Don't do that. Just don't do that. 4 wide is never going to work at this track, I think. It rarely works at any track, but it's really not going to work at a track like this.
Ron Hornaday, Jeff Gordon were some of the cars who almost got caught up in that. The ones with damage, though, Johnny Benson Jr., Harry Gant, and now you're going to have to try to complete the last 67 or so laps of this race with your back end all smashed in.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. That's a big issue for Johnny Benson and Harry Gant.
I mean, the good news is that it's not... The damage isn't worse, but at the same time, it's not damage you should want in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Are these people going to come on in here on lap number 3?
There's a bit of a gap there between the first 5 or 7. Although I think they're just trying to get themselves sorted. We'll see.
I believe that is it. Yeah. If anyone comes into the pits, it's going to be one of those 4 that were in that accident, I believe.
Yeah. Early caution. Hopefully that's just a one-off. We'll see how it is. We'll be right back to you with the rest of the race. Welcome back, everybody, to the NR2003 Draft Series at Michigan. Had that early caution. And ready to go back racing on lap number 7. Bobby Labonte is still your leader. Jeff Burton second. Ricky Craven third. Steve Park fourth. Dale Jarrett fifth. Mike McLaughlin 6th, Jim Sauter 7th, Ernie Irvin 8th, Michael Waltrip 9th, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. rounding out your top 10. And we saw a bunch of chaotic 3 wide racing, and Darren, you were telling me under break that you don't know how much more of that we're going to see when they start to get these single file restarts.
Yeah, it's a thing that I've caught on to, especially at tracks, bigger tracks like this, like Daytona and Talladega. Like, you don't really typically see them go too spread out very quickly. And at a track like this, where there's no circuit plates, you could see them get very spread out very quickly, I feel like, after restart. We're going to have 64 laps to go here. This could be a big impact on the rest of the race.
We'll see how that goes. Pace car is in. And here we go again.
Oh my goodness.
Big gap already forming between the 21 and the 4. There's Ricky Craven going for second on the inside of Jeff Burton. He's going to have help from the 2 going into turn 1. Side by side for second, coming out of turn 2.
Surprised he didn't jump out earlier. That was a very bad start for the 4 of Jeff Burton. It's going to have a 73 to move into second place. Dale Jarrett trying to get a run on the 25, and Jim Sauter right behind him as well in the 29.
Jim Sauter looking to crack that top 5. Something we haven't seen much out of that 29 car this year yet. Now it's as good as time as ever. Goodness me. So we see them all entering all single file for the first 7 cars already.
I think I saw a bit of 3 wide in the back of the top 10.
Yeah, just outside those top 7.
Oh my goodness!
It's a full-on dogfight. We got the 30 of Rusty Wallace getting to the inside of the 43. See how the 43 is able to hold through the corner. 30 clears him. Senior still trying to battle against the 7 of Ernie Irvin. There's still 3 wide further back. That's 87.
There might be 4 wide a bit behind them. Oh god, don't go 4 wide.
We saw what happened last time they went 4 wide. So, nope, McLaughlin just keeping
close.
it 3 wide. Still on the outside lane. And losing. Losing a lot of positions. Still,
Oh, I think I saw some sparks there.
I think someone might have just clipped the wall ever so slightly. There's still
Look at Jeff Green. I don't know where we are in the pack, but Jeff Green's ahead of Derek Cope here.
23rd. There's Cope going to go on the inside of the 49.
Oh, goodness. Stop giving me a heart attack, guys. It's lap 10 of 70.
We still got a long way to go. These guys are not treating it like we have a long way to go. There is still ample fighting for every single position possible. There's the 17, Ward Burton, looking to the inside of Jack Sprague, looking for help from the 48. They get a good run down the straightaway. 48's going to try to make it 3 wide going into turn 1 again.
Just sent it right on in there, and he gets past them both like they're standing still pretty much. And out here comes the 42, trying to take advantage of that. As we might have a battle for the lead on our hands, there's only 8/100 second the gap between Craven and Labonte.
And once again, look at that. Ricky Craven past the 21. It looks like all of them, the rest of the top 5 just ganged up on the 21, went by him, and they're fighting amongst themselves for the lead.
6/1000ths a second of a gap there. And now we have another new leader. Dale Jarrett will take the lead ahead of the 4, Jeff Burton.
And that coalition broke up pretty quickly. The front 2, the 2 and the 4 are trying to drive away. Ricky Craven holding on, trying to keep them in tow. But the 21 is almost out of the picture now. At least half a second behind. As the 4...
And now here comes Burton.
Burton to the inside of the 2. Not able to take the lead that time by, but he might have a chance going into turn 1 again.
A lot of ring around the rosy here up front early on in this run. I'm surprised.
Yeah, but look at that 2. He's holding strong on the outside.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, that inside not that good through 1 and 2 if you're on the inside in a side-by-side battle. Now here comes a 25 out of nowhere!
Hello, Steve Park.
And hello, Rusty Wallace!
2 Pontiacs, 2 Chevys, and a Ford. All in this lead group, which is gained almost a second on 6th and beyond.
Michael, look who's up in 8th place now.
Todd Bodine, that other Sopco car.
Oh, and goodbye, Bobby Labonte. He is getting shuffled here.
There's Bodine trying to battle against that 7 of Ernie Irvin. Still went up a little bit too high on the racetrack.
Oh, Labonte!
And Labonte's using the whole racetrack way down to the inside. Trying to get side by side with the 7. As they enter the corner. And Jim Sauter in the 29 looking to join this fight.
He's not really getting much help, though. The 10's a long ways back, as now Irvin goes to the inside on Labonte. That's going to help Sauter out a bit going through the turn, and he'll get past the 40.
Let's go ahead with the 10 car right here, getting on board with him, and see just how fast they're going. Get down to about 185 miles an hour through the corner at their slowest. And then on the straightaway.
He had to check up there. He had to check up there because he had cars on his outside. He was going to drift up the track into them.
Now that happens a lot here. There's just a lot of drifting up the track. He got up to 204 down the straightaway, entering turns 3 and 4. But the front straightaway is where we get the fastest and where you really want the momentum. 211 miles an hour. These are some insane speeds for these stock cars.
And they'll drop down to about 190 whenever they're not in a battle or anything like that. When they're running by themselves, they can run 190 through these corners. That is unbelievable speeds.
This is almost a test of the machine as much as it is of the man. With how fast these cars are going, do you think that kind of opens the possibility up to more mechanical issues?
It depends on how the cars are set up, because if they're set up for like a low rev limiter, like they're constantly on the red line, that could very well be an issue, but I don't know how much of a problem that could be. You know, I'm also just thinking now, I want to look at the 40 car of Todd Bodine really quickly, if we don't mind. That team has had a season of all time, I believe, 5 DNQs through these first 13 races, a best finish of 8th back at Willow Springs, and just overall a rough season for Sobco as a whole, I believe, running 40th in points in a 40 car.
Yeah, their teams had it's a very interesting situation they find themselves in, not just for the 40, but as a team. They're running so many cars, running 4 cars, and none of them are exactly doing too well. The only car, I believe, who's made even the majority of races is the 46 of Mike Bliss, and he's only 34th in points.
42, Sterling Marlin has made every race, 23rd in points.
Sorry, and I know it's bad to forget them, but that also kind of says the season that they've had is that Sterling Marlin's just been so quiet. It's been hard to pick up on their successes. And I think really Sobco right now is looking for some sort of somebody to rally behind. I feel like that's what they might need.
I mean, I wouldn't even say like the quietness of Sterling Marlin's been bad for that team. I mean, when you look at Marlin's stat line, he's got a top 5. He has 3 top 10s. Has he been amazing? No, but he's been there. He's never finished worse than 27, or 30th, sorry. 2 finishes of 30th is his worst of the year, which it could be a hell of a lot worse considering some drivers we have in the field.
Very valid. And you see Todd Bodine right now currently in 12th. This would definitely be a great run for him. Although, of course, we want to keep having those consistent runs. He had that 8th at Willow Springs like we talked about, and he also had a 15th at Charlotte. 2 29th places in between those and a DNQ. So I think right now it's just another matter of get what we can out of these cars as we look forward to the rest of this year.
Definitely. I'm just looking back at the ticker here. We've got only 3 cars within a half second to lead. Everyone else starting to fall back quite a bit here on lap 23.
Yeah, we can see those first 3. There's the 2, the 4, the 73. And then big gaps between 4th, 5th, and then 6th. And then this group of cars here, this 3-wide racing, Bobby Labonte trying to hold on to a spot on the outside as we see the 10 looking underneath the 29.
And they're running very tight.
Oh, they're running 4 wide.
My gosh, oh no! Oh no!
Almost!
Oh my god! I think there was contact between Sauter and Hamilton there. That was almost catastrophic.
Just a bit tight they're running. Yeah.
Dear lord. We still have a long ways to go in this one. I mean, the fuel window is open, technically speaking, if there is a caution. Fuel window anywhere between 40 and 50, but I think everyone would rather just pit around lap 40 or 50 anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if your plan works, don't deviate too much from it. So we see still how spread out these cars are getting. There's 3 wide ahead. Elliott Sadler to the inside of the 48 car. Randy LaJoie got a good run off the corner. Though going to keep the 82. Humble allow the 48 to get ahead. Now there's a line of 7 cars. All lined up behind
Lord.
the 48.
This is very close racing. It's very nerve-wracking to watch, even as a commentator. It's like you're just worried something is going to happen, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like our cameras are not giving enough credit to, once again, how fast they are racing and how terrifying it is from the driver's spot as we see Dale Sr. try to dive down, get ever so slightly underneath the 22 car. Not able to do so. And runs, I think, are the big name of the game here. You want to go ahead. Oh.
6/100ths of a second between Burton and Jarrett for the lead. Oh my goodness. Well, that's close.
I think we'll see this in motion here. The runs are going to be everything. Look at that. The 73 got a good run on the 4. And here we come to turns 3 and 4. Craven might be able to clear the 4. 4 goes up a little bit high.
He needs to get the slipstream off the 2, and he's going to get it, I think, and that's going to clear him.
Yeah, it's going to be a very love-hate relationship with the other drivers around you. Because at the same time, at one point, you're trying to pass them, of course. But at the same time, you need them to go and help you pass some of these other guys.
Yeah, it's such a tough battle whenever you basically have to rely on the draft to make a big run on somebody, because if it's the leader, the leader could just very well go in all the way down to the bottom of the track or all the way up to the top and just completely break the slipstream and make it nigh on impossible for anyone to get a run on them if they're side by side.
And a quick thing we were following earlier, we were talking about how the 40 car of Bodano's looking for a good day. I mean, he's already got the fastest lap so far. One of only 2 drivers to get under 35 seconds, a 34.93. And
that is
pretty fast.
That is horrifyingly quick, Michael. That is unbelievable. But that's what happens when you're averaging 190 miles an hour pretty much through here. Actually, probably averaging 200. I know we had the... So the ticker doesn't show it, but in reality, we're averaging around 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing. Average speed of 162. I don't think any of these drivers have gone below 162 since the restart.
I don't think they've gone below 170 since the restart.
But right now, we're 30 laps, or sorry, around like 25 laps into this run. And we're seeing how far everybody is. I mean, even on our wide cameras, we can't see 4th place. It's 2.6 seconds, the gap between the leader and 4th.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, we've had big gaps before. Like, that's nothing new, obviously, but I can't recall 3 cars having a breakaway this big in a race. I know we're only on, I think it was just race 14, but this is an odd sight to see.
I think it's just one of those things of these faster, wide-open tracks is they're going so fast that it just stretches all the cars out. Even if, you know, on pace, they might be running similar laps side by side. This is just one of those features of the tracks. As we have another battle for second. There's Jeff Burton trying to look to the inside of Craven. The same move that Craven pulled on the 4 just a few laps ago.
If Burton's still down there, he's going to check up big time here through 1 and 2, I believe. Or not.
Not this time.
Oh my god. Wow, okay. Just prove me wrong then. Just call the commentator stupid. Why not? Jeff Burton in the 2nd place.
I think what helps him is that it's just a 1 car versus 1 car thing. You don't have to worry about anybody else. You just have to worry about the guy you're racing against, and that allows you to take that preferred line, which is a little bit higher than where they were running earlier. Because there is a perfect line, whether you choose the inside or the outside, there's one preferred line in there that if you can nail it, it's going to give you a huge advantage against the other guy you're racing against. Doesn't work all the time, but when you figure it out, you feel like a genius. As we see the 73 go at it again.
Absolutely sent it in there that time. Big move, and it's immediately going to clear him on the 4. And you know Dale Jarrett's loving seeing this. I mean, battling for second place like this, it's just leading for no contest up front with the 2.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. The 2's like, let's just go ahead. Give me the most laps led bonus already. Because he's been out there for a long while.
And they're going again. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Craven clipped the wall ever so slightly. Although it must have been by the smallest margins, because he's still fine. Still keeping pace with the 4. Might even stay ahead of the 4 as they cross the stripe this time.
Halfway now officially. 35 laps to go in the Miller 400. And look who's broken into the top 10 as well. The 4-gated Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now up here as they keep battling for second.
Yeah, Junior's been on an absolute flyer. We saw him start around, mid-20s on the field. And now all the way up to 8th. Right behind the battle of 2 of his Hendrick teammates, trying to get around the 40 of Todd Bodine. And all of this happening just about 4 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, the thing is, you're pretty much going to need a caution if you're going to catch up here at this point. Because actually, look at the gap between 21st or 22nd and 23rd as well. 4.5 seconds.
Let's go ahead further back in the field. There's Senior, who's not having... Still trying to get his way up through the field. Currently in 22nd at the tail end of this group. 23rd. He's half a corner behind. Possibly more.
Yeah, that's...
It is very lonely, this gap.
That is not fun. If you're Ron Hornaday Jr. just seeing a car that far ahead and knowing that you're only 3rd.
He's leading his own group of cars. That's basically everyone almost back to 40th, 41st. But they're still going at really fast laps. I mean, he ran a 35.97 that time by. And some of these guys are running, 35.8s. So it's only a 1/10 of a second off than the leaders, but than this group at least, but still. Speaking of, we're almost at a second of fall off for the drivers right now.
Yeah, I mean, the pit window's about to be open too. We're on lap 39 of 70, so we could very well be seeing pit stops within these next 5 to 10 laps.
Because the only people who did go to pit road were the ones involved in the crash earlier on lap 3, so everyone still needs to come in and get at least one pit stop.
Look at the gap between first and second now, by the way, up to 3/4 of a second just about between Jarrett and Burton. As they battle back here, this is for 5th place between Todd Bodine and David Green. But Green couldn't get a run. They're singling out a lot more now. I feel like the tires are wearing out to a point where it's getting a lot more difficult to make a big run.
Yeah, the runs are getting harder and harder to achieve. Except we see the 40 on the inside trying to still get something going. But look at that, there's just not enough momentum.
Also, maybe you think of, they're starting to close, by the way. The gap's down to 2.4 seconds between 1st and 4th.
Yeah, the 4 and the 73 are closing in there. And up here for fourth, the gap 2.4 seconds last time around. This time it is 2.5. Back up a little bit. The tire fall off in Michigan is a very interesting concept to actually see play out.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, like, typically you'd think as the tires wear out, it'd be easier to get on, but at these bigger tracks, it's a lot harder to get a run. And as I say that, David Green's just going to prove me wrong for the up team time this season, as he gets past the 40, Todd Bodine for 5th place.
And up front, I think it might even be a little bit more interesting. The 4 has caught that 2 once again.
Battle for the lead. 27 laps to go next time by. Currently on 28. Burton lost a lot of time exiting turn 2 there.
He didn't get that good run off the corner. Remember, runs are basically everything here.
The thing we're just waiting on is when do we think these guys are coming into the pits? Because we did have that caution early. So we did have a couple laps of tire saving, fuel saving, whatever. But it's still a thing of, like, you gotta come in here soon, I would think. We're about 40 laps into the run, just about, up to 38.
I think closer to lap 50. But I did see in the distance one lapper, Jimmy Spencer, who is just exiting turn 4 right now, coming across the start-finish line. He might be an interesting challenge for our 3 leaders, who might catch him in just a few laps. Here comes the 4!
Oh, for the lead! Is he going to be able to stick it, though?
4 had a good run in. The 2 has a better run out.
Watch for 73 here. He's going to have a huge run.
See, Craven's going to go dive down to the inside.
Oh,
see if he can stick with it. Yes! Gets the 4 to run up a little bit.
Moved him. And now Jarrett can run away again.
That was a great move, but once again, that allows the leader to just drive away for a few more laps.
Also, I'm just now seeing on the leaderboard, John Andretti has moved up to 6. He started in 40th place today, Michael, and now he's in the top 10.
Good news for RCR, as I'm pretty sure they have finally figured out how to get this track out, put aside their bad qualifying, and Andretti is in a very nice position, leading is the 3rd car in this group of around 10-15 drivers, going all the way back to Terry Labonte in a 22nd.
22nd, yeah. And now he's right on the back of Ernie Irvin. He's looking to the inside, but you don't have a run there yet, mate. Might have a chance this time, though, going through 3. Over pit stops, the 73!
Oh. Craven's coming to pit road.
Is anyone else coming in?
Looks like it's just Craven for now.
I did see something pop up in our thing, but I'm not sure what that may have been. That may have been someone else who made a pit stop.
No, that's engine troubles on the 73.
Oh, that's why he's pitting! No!
Oh.
Ricky Craven! Cranefuss Haas had it all in their hands. An engine failure. That is so unfortunate for Ricky Craven.
And I
think I saw they were only taking 1 can of fuel and right side tires, Michael, and fixing the damage. I don't like that call.
I think he's going to be there a while no matter what, so...
Well, yeah, but you can still take 4 tires, you know?
Interesting.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, Cranefuss Haas, especially that 73 car, could not catch a break. He had a top 5 at Willow Springs, but since then, the last 4 races have been all outside the top 20, which is, of course, when you were up 15th in points, now you're down to 20th as we see Dale Jarrett go around the 71 car. Just a
That
little
was
close.
Is the 73 still in the race?
Yes, he is just listed as 1 lap down. There's the pit stops, the 5 and the 1.
Okay.
Ron
Here we go.
Hornaday,
Now
Jack
we're
Sprague.
getting it. Now we're getting there. Here we go.
The 2's going to stay out. The 4 is not, following the 71. See if anybody else goes down. There's the 17 car. 29 and 18 as well. There into pit road. 63.
That might be everyone. Oh, okay. If you guys in the back here coming in.
We'll see how that works out for them. We just saw the 73 pass by on track. 44 Matt Kenseth, Chad Little, 63 Rutman are in. There's your leader right now, Dale Jarrett.
He's going one more. What about the 24, the 31, the 7? I wonder where they're at right now. They might be in the pits. The 7 stays out. 25, a few more of these guys staying out.
Pit stops are underway.
28 laps to go this time by. You see the 2 in the distance up there. I believe probably this time by would be the time to come in.
Looks like he is.
Yep. Here they come.
The 4 and the 71 are getting their laps back. I think this will be everybody.
I believe so. This does seem like everyone. No change on the ticker, really, so I think we are fine. We'll see how everything sorts out next time by.
10 of Bobby Hamilton in, serving his pit stop, but Dale Jarrett's going to come out all alone.
They're only taking 2 tires and fuel. They're not taking 4. No one's taking 4.
Interesting.
2 tires and 1 can of fuel.
I think we have a set of tires then that are holding up a lot better. They're like, well, I don't think we need to change them. It's the collective mind of the field.
If anyone's taking 4 here, I feel like they're going to be absolutely flying. That's the thing.
Yeah, but flying with how much of a gap has formed even just under normal racing conditions. Even if you have that 4-tire advantage over 2, are you going to have enough time to go and make up that gap?
It's a very good question I did not think of. As David Green has moved into 2nd place after the pit cycle.
3 seconds behind, Jeff Burton is still battling with the guy in 2nd place. And they're 3 seconds behind the 2 car.
Yeah, I think this one, it very well could be wrapped up for the 2 car. Dale Jarrett has such a big lead. I'm honestly kind of struggling to see a way in which this goes poorly for him unless there's a caution or he has an issue.
Or maybe if the 4 knocks down half a second.
That could be a problem for the 2 car.
Just a little.
Coming up on 15 to go here. This is gonna get down to it.
We'll see this time by how much of a gap are they closing. That time around, 2.2. Close another 3/10. I don't think it's over
They
for
might
the
get
2.
there. They very well might get there. But they're going to have to keep this pace up and still be able to challenge him at the end, which I don't know if it's going to be possible to keep up that much pace for that long. Because the 2 very well could be saving tires right now.
The problem is, though, is that he's alone. That's the issue. There's nobody here to really get a draft on. Look at the lap, 35.9 that time by. 35.6 for Jeff Burton.
Oh!
I think they're going to catch up to him pretty quickly.
This is starting to get nerve-wracking here. We're gonna have a fight at the end of this one, I believe.
Well, let's take a quick look ahead, see if there are any other lappers. Jeff Gordon is in 41st. Hold on a second.
That's not right. Something happened here.
I believe this is on the pit stop, but
See it. We say it could be on the pit. It may just be a very bad day for Jeff Gordon.
this would be his worst finish of the year if things hold. His worst finish so far was 37th at Darlington.
Yeah, if you remember rightly, that was a race in which they had to come in for an oil leak and they didn't take tires. When if they took tires, they probably would have at least finished top 20.
Pit stops a
So,
fun challenge
What's a-
for Jeff Gordon.
what is the speed? What is the speed on the 73 car? That's the main question I have right now.
37.5.
Oh goodness.
With that engine trouble, that really slowed down his car.
Is he still listed as a lap down?
Yes, he is. Along with the
Okay.
71.
So we aren't completely sure on how far away he is from the 2. But it seems to be about a whole turn between... Yeah.
It's gonna close down, I think, just a little bit quicker than the 4 and the 24 are closing in on the 2.
Yeah. What's the gap going to look like this time?
1 second.
3/10. Another 3/10. They gain, what, 1.5 seconds over these last 5 laps?
Averaging around 2 to 3 tenths per lap. They are definitely going to catch him. Probably have around 6 to 7 laps to work with once they catch up to that 2 car.
How much are you sweating if you're Dale Jarrett right now? Because you've still got to deal with the 73, and you're going to have to now deal with the 4 and the 24 more.
You got the slow 73 up front, 2 faster cars in the back. I would say
Gap down the...
time to start thinking about what's your best line.
Gap down to 3/4 of a second. We are under 10 laps to go in the Miller 400. Caution now will result in a guaranteed single file restart. Lap cars will line up in the same line as the leader. So this could be a thing. If a caution comes out after the 2 passes at 73, could save the 2 here.
We'll see as they catch the 73. Catching him pretty quickly. 73 tried to go down to the inside. He was not clear. Thankfully, stayed out of the way of the 2.
This might hold him up here. Here comes the 4. They're going to get held up. Ricky Craven's got beef with Jeff Burton.
Craven is not helping anybody today. Right now.
And now he's going to hold up the 24, I believe.
We'll see if the 24, how much does he get held up? Oh, he goes right to the inside.
What's the gap going to look like now? Because that was not good.
It only went down a few hundred.
It went up! The gap got better in favor of Burton.
But only by a little bit. So it did slow down their forward progress.
He made up less time the lap before. It went from 27 1,000 to 51 1,000 or 51 thousandths. He gained more time that lap somehow. Seven to go here. Dale Jarrett trying to hold off Jeff Burton. David Green in third, looking to possibly play spoiler. Trying to become the third Hendrick Motorsports driver to win a race, and the gap is down to 0.4 of a second, Michael.
Morgan McClure, number 4. Hendrick Motorsports, number 24. And the Petty Penske, number 2.
The 2, 4, and 24, the top 3. God, I love numbers.
I'd say definitely these are some of the second in command guys of their teams.
6 to go. Here we go. It's getting down to it. 0.2 of a second. This one is on.
24 is just waiting for the 4 to try to go and make that pass. That's going to be a perfect time for the 24 to go and make up that extra time. Here we are, still 190 miles an hour through the corner. Gonna be another 210 down the straightaway. And these 35-second laps are gonna go by super quickly.
Now it's going to be at a point to where you're not going to make up time. It's just going to be a matter of passing the guy. That's all you can do. At this point, 5 laps to go, get the run you need, send it right past him, try and take this win away from him. Could the tires possibly be becoming an issue on the 4 and the 24? They've been pushing so hard. Stuff a bit much. A bit early.
Could possibly be. See the 4. The gap's a little bit relatively stable, about 1/10 right now. Remember, Dale Jarrett's looking for win number 2. Jeff Burton's looking for win number 2. David Green is looking for the first win of his career. That's the stakes for everybody. It looks like the 2 pulled away a little bit that time by. 2/10 now the gap. Very good news for the 2 car. Not so good news for the 4. 24 might even be thinking about trying to make his move early to get around that 4 car. But if they end up side by side with 2 to go, could be it. 2 cars still leading, taking that preferred line. 2 laps to go. Gap down to another 1.5. 1/10 and a half. 4 got a good run that time by.
He's right there, and it's gonna be 1.5 laps to go now. I don't know if he's gonna get there. I think he used up all the stuff too early.
Yeah, getting there was the easy part. Passing it's gonna be difficult. As we get to the white flag, Dale Jarrett still has the lead by almost 2/10.
Jarrett looking for a second win of 1997. So is the 4 of Jeff Burton. David Green looking for a first career win. Don't think it'll come today, though. He's too far back to possibly make a move. Here comes Burton. He's right there. Can he make the move heading down to turn number 3? No, he backs out of it. And because of that right there, lap number 70 will come to a close. He's going to get to the inside, possibly make it look nice, but it's not going to matter. Dale Jarrett will come to the line. Your winner of the Miller 400 at Michigan.
The Miller car wins the Miller 400. I think that's a good day for your sponsors.
I'd say so. I think that's pretty good. Top 10 finishers in this one is going to be Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, David Green, Morgan Shepherd in 4th, and it's Ernie Irvin, Rick Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Steve Park, and John Andretti, your top 10.
And yeah, I think it's what you said, Darien, is that they closed in that 3-second gap, but by doing that, they did not have enough left on their tires to go and support the runs they wanted to make.
Well, I'd say that was a very fine race. Nothing barn burner, nothing horrible. A very fine race here at Michigan here today.
Everybody did finish the race. Ricky Craven, the only car 2 laps down with that engine issues. Jimmy Spencer, the only car 1 lap down. 41 cars finished on the lead lap. I believe that beats our previous record of 40, which was set at Willow Springs, I believe. And looking here, we still some of the other drivers who did pretty well. Todd Bodine finished 13th on the day. Good day for Sobco. Mike Bliss 15th. Dale Jr. got 14th. Jim Sauter 18th. Once again, filling in. But Dale Sr. finished 22nd on the day. Bobby Hamilton finished 17th. He's going to make up some points, but I don't think that's enough for him to go and take the points lead. Meanwhile, the 3 of Derek Cope finished 19th as well. Morgan Shepherd might make up a gap on some of these guys, but I'm pretty sure the points lead will stay with Dale Sr. But we'll update all of that. You can follow all of that on our races on YouTube and follow them live as they happen on Discord in the NR2003 Draft Series server. But we're looking ahead. We've got a few more races inbound. Got California, the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, New Hampshire, Pocono, Indianapolis. A pretty good selection of tracks there that these guys are going to have to tackle as we get to the midway point in this season. And this is really going to determine, who's going to have that late season pace that's going to go and get themselves a championship, and who's just going to be able to go and get themselves a win. At this point, some drivers are just looking for a win, some drivers looking at the championship. We'll all see how that plays out as the season continues. For Darien Arnsdorff, I'm Michael Paz for the Draft Series Network. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.